Hello and welcome, Wine Club members. We are now going to introduce you to the Adventurous Red and White for the month of August 2007. As the category of Adventurous goes, for those of you who have been members for a while, you know this, but I pick my Adventurous wines based on grape types and regions that are off the beaten path. It's, for me, one of the most fun to select. Because obviously there's plenty of Cabernets and plenty of Chardonnays and plenty of Pinot Grigios out there, but going to more unique grape types are certainly things that get me excited. For the Adventurous Red White, I picked two really interesting wines, potentially two wines that you may not have had before, so why don't we get right into it. The first wine we are going to have is called the Avelita Vinho Verde, and it is from Portugal. Let's give it a go and see what we think. Vinho Verde is the name of the region in Portugal. The grapes that they make Vinho Verde are grapes that really we wouldn't see bottled on their own. They're not grapes that we would traditionally know of. Trajadura is one of the grapes. Arinto is the name of another grape. Yeah, I agree. Grapes we've never heard of. So generally speaking, they're referred to just by the region, which is Vinho Verde. The producer is Avelita, or Avelita, depending on how you want to pronounce it. Let's give it a go and see what we think. On the nose, this wine is very fresh. It's almost effervescent. In fact, as it's coming down on the palate, it definitely has a bit of a sparkle to it, which makes it even that much more lively. The fruit profile to it really falls into that citrus family. I'd probably put it more in the lime family than the lemon family. The profile of it is very clean. It's a very light-bodied wine. It's got an underlying minerality to it, which I think is part to do with the grapes that are used, as well as the purity of where it comes from. And then it finishes just completely clean. I think that has something to do with the amount of acidity that is in this wine, as well as the effervescence that's in this wine. Because of how clean and fresh this wine is, if that sun ever comes back, I think this is a great wine to just sit on a patio and suck down and before you know it, have the bottle done. If you want to have it with some food, I would definitely put it with more delicate flavored foods because it is definitely on the lighter side. I'm a big fan of sushi, and I think this would absolutely be a perfect sushi wine. But my preference probably with this wine is to have it on its own right before dinner. The regular retail price of this wine is $9.99. As you members know, if you're interested in a repurchase price, the members get a special price on a repurchase, and it's $8.99 for the bottle. And if you're interested in a case, it comes out to $101.90, which I think is a pretty good deal. The second wine we have for the red-white category is, some of you may know, this is called Chateauneuf de Pape. Maison Bouchon is the name of this winery. This comes from the 2003 vintage, which if anyone is familiar with European wines, you would know that 2003 was a very, very warm year. For those who are new to Chateauneuf de Pape, this makes for a good profile because it comes from a warmer vintage. It tends to provide a little more riper fruit up front. Chateauneuf de Pape is the name of the region in southern Rhone, and the traditional grapes that are used with Chateauneuf de Papes range kind of 13 varietals, but the primary grapes that are used in this particular wine is about 60% Grenache, followed by about 30 some odd percent of Syrah, and I think the remainder is Mourvedre. The idea behind any blend is, like a chef with spices, the idea is the balance of the different components of the wine as a whole make a better wine. There's not many chefs out there that want to work with just salt and pepper. You know, the combination of throwing in some paprika and some cumin and some curry ultimately is what makes a masterpiece dish, and that's what happens when you look at blends like this one from Southern Rome. Let's give it a go and see what we think. The first thing that you're going to notice with this is there's going to be a fair amount of earthiness to it, and it's certainly very typical of Chateauneuf-du-Pape. In contrast to New World wines, this definitely still has some ripe fruit flavors to it, but it moves kind of more into the savory component of the fruit profile, in that it's more kind of stewed fruits, more red currant, black currant. On the palate, that savoriness follows through. You get a bit of bacon fat, you get a bit of earth. The tannins on this are quite strong. I definitely would put it on the medium plus to full. It's screaming for food, and it's screaming for slow-cooked stews. It's screaming for venisons, slow-cooked rabbits. It likes something that's pretty strong in flavor because it's a pretty strong flavored wine. It's a good introduction to Chateauneuf-du-Pape because it doesn't take it over the top, and it's a pretty reasonable price point. The regular retail on this is $29.99. The special rebuy price is an unusually low one at $23.49, and the case price, if you're interested to buy a case on special rebuy, is $287.90. I hope you enjoyed it, and I certainly did.